to... hold on a second. Yeah, that music was really loud. Welcome back to Undying Wins Session 14. Shadow of the Princess is the name of the episode or session. Last session, things happened. Ultimately, the two groups that separated did end up coming back to one another. Joe, I'll make sure to get you a brief synopsis or links on the Obsidian portal for the duration where I just sat there blathering on for a bit about demon princes. A couple of other people had some other articles of information that they investigated while present. That's already been handled. And the group returns back to the house. Basically, the meeting point would be upon the arrival of the bookworms, not the gang, the individuals who went and read at the library, as I assume Kurt Gosler and Varak would arrive back sooner, having ran as fast as they could to get there. Upon your arrival at the house, one thing you'll clearly note is that everything seems to be in order. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing crazy. You rush into the house, kind of checking around to make sure everything's all well and good and you're not being continually stalked. And it seems that your pursuers have allowed you to run to ground. Anything you want to do between the time you arrive and the time that the others will return?
Is this the bookworms or those two?
Those two get there first, yeah.
Gotcha.
I would like to use my long-range communicator to communicate that message I already sent you.
Yep. So you'll spend some time hanging out in your room, sending a message. Not a problem. Brack, is there anything that you want to do while you're waiting?
Here he is.
Not at the house. Yeah, not while it's just me and the blue guy.
Well, there's a bunch of gnomes. The guards.
Blue guys.
Plural.
Kick the gnomes.
Aya,
Kick the gnomes.
Aya appears to be on watch. You do see her up on the balcony as you guys are entering in. And I can't think of any of the guards that you kind of noticed that are of import. But yeah, that's the scene. Anything? I mean, do you want to leave the house, go somewhere else, or wait for the others?
No, I want to wait for the others.
Makes sense. Okay, so fast forward to that. You guys arrive back at the house, enter into the foyer. I presume Lord Kurt Gosler is probably in his office.
If he's in his office, Sam is going to probably go to the basement, and I forgot to start identifying the things that I got from the Beholder.
Okay. Yep, perfectly fine. And if you'll just remind me real quick, I don't want to have to sort through my notes. It was
give me a second. I've got them at the bottom of my notes.
It was 2 lenses.
2 eye stalk lenses, a set of bracers, a ring, and an amulet.
Got it. The braces are braces of armor, which was probably expected. The ring is a ring of protection. The amulet is amulet of proof against locate detection. Let me double check what the name of it was.
Man, Valette needs that one. Or Gilbert.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting. My compendium's not working. Hold on.
fun.
I thought that's why we got Valette purified, is so she couldn't be. I guess she's still a magical thing.
No, you can't be detected that way anymore.
You can't be
And never
detected
mind.
that way.
I see the compendium.
Yeah, for some reason it wasn't loading on mine. Bear with me here.
It's actually a little bit funny. Yeah, it's slow.
Yeah.
It's going on and in and out.
Yours is the New Jersey compendium. He wants the regular compendium.
Oh my God,
Hey, you guys.
you're going hard for the New Jersey stuff today.
I know, right? Come at me, bro.
For all of our New Jersey viewers out there, we love you. We just
That's
don't love Andy.
that's the shore spirit, Andy.
No.
Get him.
No,
Come
to
at
all
me,
of our
bro.
New Jersey viewers, we love you. We just don't love you as much as everyone else.
To all our New Jersey viewers, who's Andy?
And we
Who's also-
definitely don't love you as much as you loved yourselves.
Oh.
Ooh, that is so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
Wow. Shots fired.
All these people just dropped off viewing this.
That's one
Hurts, but it's true.
hell of a situation. You
You mean Andy just stopped watching this?
Yeah, right?
makes sense. So amulet of proof against detection, I think. The one that basically blocks you from kind of magical censoring. And then the eye stalks. One is an eye stalk of magnification, which when used with an eye stalk basically makes it so that the save DC of the eye stalk beam that's fired through it, the save DC is increased by 3. And then the other eye stalk is it modifies the attack roll made through that eye stalk by 3 as well, and deals an additional 3 damage, I believe.
Guys,
Like
it's
precision.
a +3.
They're
Yeah.
both +3 eye stalks. Eye stalk lenses.
And then the Ring of Protection, is that just a +1?
Yeah.
Cool. And I'm guessing the same thing for the bracers.
Bracers are +2.
Right.
The bracers of
bracers
what?
of defense.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but you have to be wearing no armor and using no shield. For
So in
them
other
to
words, they're
work.
perfect for a wizard.
Or a barbarian,
Or a barbarian.
but I've already
Barbarian
got
already
it.
has, yeah.
You already
Yeah.
have them?
And I already have a cloak of protection, so I don't need the ring of protection. It's
Right.
just,
They don't stack?
They do stack. Ring of protection and
I-
crack.
can only have 3 attuned items, though.
That's
Oh,
true.
Yeah.
So with my
Esper Edge.
cloak, my Esper Edge, and the
that's
fucking bracers, that's
Makes sense.
I'm out of shit.
Bracers do require attunement. I forgot about that. Well, I
Mhm.
can't use these.
Yeah, they're all attunement items.
So no armor at all for the bracers.
And you will note too that all of the items do happen to be attunement items, but yet he had them all equipped. So you're not sure if before he died they were all attuned, but the physiology.
It'd still all only be 3 items, though, for him, right?
No.
Or
Ring,
the lenses are
Ring.
attunement?
yeah.
Got it. I understand.
I mean, that's fine. We've got some things.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, he could have had levels in Artificer, so he had 6 attunement slots.
Probably not.
Probably not. I like the question there, as if you don't know if it's the right answer or not. You bastard.
You totally do, though.
I didn't try to make it a question. I wanted to end it with like a deadpan kind of period.
So
Point.
moving on to the plot.
Oh, right.
Yeah, really.
Not making fun of New Jersey or explaining comedy. Let's go. What you doing? What's the plan? It is afternoon, getting close to evening time. You can hear the clacking and clinking of dishware, pots and pans and the like as they prepare for the evening dinner service. Yeah, what would you like to do?
Is everyone back at the house now?
Yeah.
Real quick, Matt, do you have some sort of sound coming through your background, or is that someone else?
I don't think it's me,
Okay.
because I'm also hearing sound in the back.
It could
Me
be
too.
me.
It
Let
sounds
me
like a
turn
woman's
this
voice.
up.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. It's not terribly disconcerting. It's not a big
Okay,
deal.
Kevin's saying.
Poor Kevin. He says it's over there.
Kevin can just do a push to talk for right now, right?
Yeah.
He's got to remember to unmute himself, though. Or
Or we can just learn to read lips.
Okay. Anyway, evening time. That said, it sounds like the dinner rush is getting ready. Is there anything you guys want to do in the evening time tonight and discuss?
I need to make sure everyone knows that we were attacked.
Yeah, like, did they look really beat up when we got back?
They had a couple of hours to kind of just take a short rest, so I presume that they would have kind of spent some hit dice, gotten a little bit better.
Oh wow, I have 0 current hit points. That's weird.
Ugh.
It's like blank, like it was not like I have 0. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's because the tokens are linked to it. Everybody will probably have 0 hit points. That's my fault. I put the new tokens down on the map.
Ah,
Go ahead and refill them. It's fine.
I don't even have hit points right now. It's just empty.
Yeah, just
Yeah, it's
put-
fine.
put
yeah.
them
I
on.
know I was above half, so I wouldn't have looked too fucked up. But Gilbert was pretty fucked up.
Yeah,
John,
Gilbert was knocked unconscious at one point.
Does the map reflect the new territory?
Yeah, well, the territory didn't change. If you recall correctly, Sam said that he would basically side with Hadrian on his desire to kill Saza. And he would leave the territories as is if Sam basically helped him in that goal.
Okay.
Right, so basically my whole thing is if one of the gangs asks me what to do about that, I'm like, well, I'm just joining the Night Sharks on this one, guys, because we're such great buddies.
Yep.
hmm
Yeah, so I would tell everybody about how we were attacked by Saza specifically and other Kango agents, and how we heroically kicked their butt while retreating at the same time.
Brack,
Hmm.
make a quick perception check for me. This is something that I wanted to outline for you at the end of last session, but I didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, somehow I'm not surprised about this, Gilbert.
Don't worry about the reciting of the number. I can see it. But you were kind of focused on the fight and paying attention when it came down to kind of like a retreating out through the alleyway that you kind of chose the one side, killed the last 3 that you saw, and then booked it off to the house. You would have noted that the bodies, after a fashion, just kind of dissipated into shadowy mist. You thought you saw it happen a couple of times, but you're not sure if all of them did it because you kind of moved very quickly from beat to beat, but at least the last ones did. You're muted.
I'd make sure I'd mention that to Ren so he could follow up with the guards and see if they were able to recover bodies or something.
hmm
Because there were yellow caps there at the end that cleaned out the warehouse and
Mhm.
picked off stragglers for us. So I'm sure there's going to be a report or something.
Well, Gilbert, you might be in luck. Here's this thing that I got, and I've just sort of like chucked the amulet at him.
Oh, what does it do? What is it? It's an amulet.
Yeah, if you don't want to if you think they might be scrying on you or whatnot, you can try to put that on and attune to it. They can't scry on you. Granted, they can still scry on the rest of us. So, if they're smart, they'll just scry on the rest of us and fuck you up anyway. But something. Might
Didn't
make you
need to
feel better.
scry on him. He walked to their freaking front door.
That's true. I was, it was a trap set by, was it Durant that said it?
Dougal Brandt.
Brant.
But Dougal Brandt, when you saw him at the house, was Saza.
Yeah, so it's like he made himself look like Dougal. Dougal's a friend of mine, so I wouldn't be surprised if he would do something like that.
Secretly have been Zaza?
Ren,
Yeah.
just make a good old-fashioned intelligence check.
Sure. I rolled a critical
yeah,
failure.
You rolled. All
He-
right.
He's got the pipe in hand and the Sherlock hat, and he's just kind of trying to look as investigatorial as possible.
Oh my gosh, guys, he's Will Ferrell right now in the Sherlock movie.
All right.
I don't even know
Nope.
if that was worth a reference.
Yeah.
Like, even a reference at all.
Oh, Will Ferrell. Anyway.
Anyway. Well, there's nothing else. When are these gnomes leaving?
I believe they are leaving soon. Is that the case? Out of character?
Couple days.
How soon should we depart? Head rescue.
With the Kango on her tail, brother, I think the sooner we can get on our feet, the faster and better it'll be for us all.
I agree. We should leave as soon as possible.
You hear a voice just come from the corner, and who's to say they won't stalk you outside of the city? And you all kind of snap your attention to that direction, and you see Val kind of stepping out of the shadows. Val Mardigan.
Oh boy.
If you,
Brother, I like fighting on my territory. These city walls.
Are you reaching
clamped.
Are you reaching for your weapon when he appears? No.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Nah, he asked me, like, what's going to happen. I'm answering this question honestly. I don't know who he is, but he's in Gilbert's house. He must be a friend. No, but
okay.
Like, yeah, brother, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fight on my turf. That's how I like it. Who's you, stranger, dark brother?
Just the shadowy figure kind of like throws his hood back, kind of looking to Ren. Lots happened over the last couple of days.
Yeah. I'm glad you finally were able to talk.
I'm not here for you, though.
Okay.
And kind of looks to Gilbert
Yeah.
dismissively, and then looks to Sam. So, welcome to the fold.
Thanks. When do I get my, welcome bag and all that sort of stuff?
We'll have your goodie bag out to you as soon as possible. He kind of
that's wonderful.
shrugs his shoulders. So, my associates told me that there's already been a matter of discourse discussed between you and Hadrian. Is that accurate?
Yeah, well, he kind of the guy's name is Sal, the Kengu Zaza. He kind of wants, Saza, and I told him that I'd back him on that so long as, we don't necessarily come to odds in the idealist / Night Shark territory. So I just figure we have potentially bigger fish to fry in the near future, so might as well,
And
just while it lasts, have a truce.
do my reports read as accurate that the council has wronged the idealists by taking things off of your territory? Is that accurate?
You might be able to say that, yeah. I mean, they did come, destroy the conglomerate tower, and just, take what they wanted.
Okay.
Fucking off.
So, if you have business outside of the city, I don't think that'll stop the Shinoyo or Kengo. So, be wary. If you are as confident as you say you are, strange one, then hopefully it'll serve you. However, if you wish to deal with the matter at hand regarding the balance, the council's currently left without its primary leader. Lasatu was a very important figure, and apparently a lot more important than I could ever read. However, if the Kengo are to be dealt with, the most direct fashion of doing it would be through Gressel and this gentleman's society. If you wish to do or if you wish for Hadrian to be allowed to do what he wishes to do, I would implore you that you ask Gressel and the leaders of the gentleman's society first, so that they can directly deal with the problem across the river.
I mean, that seems like that might be a reasonable route. Wouldn't you agree, Gilbert?
Rack is shocked that you're asking for his opinion.
To be fair, Gilbert's the one that's got his head on the block, so... Kevin.
He can't hear us, I don't think.
He can't hear us.
Or he doesn't know he's Gilbert. He can't hear us.
He
Yeah.
doesn't know he's Gilbert.
He doesn't know he's Gilbert.
Just forgot.
Anyway,
We'll say that Gilbert agrees with me for the time being.
sure. The Val kind of scratches his head, kind of looks to you all, and says, regarding another matter, the balance is important, but so is the structure. We're not allowed to subside and exist without structure. As I understand it, you also had a congress or audience with the current regent, or potentially the new king. Is that accurate?
Yeah, some of us did.
If you have means to speak with him again, on behalf of the Silver Fang, make sure that he understands that we sought out the disappearance of the Black Blade and its bearer, and we understand that he was taken upon his moments of reflection down by the coast outside of Alderak. He was taken by sea to where he now resides, and the information we were able to grant to our contact within the castle may have already reached his ear regarding where he was being sent off to. I presume you were already privy to that information then?
If that name be the Duchess.
Yes, he was taken to the Altania Rus.
Also, John, he was taken by sea from where?
He was
His,
taken... Go ahead.
his cause of reflection. That's what he said.
I pinged it. It's that little circle there at the bottom near the coast.
Cool.
Oh, he turns to Gilbert. Do I have your permission to leave? It's almost like a mocking kind of statement. He smirks as he kind of backs away slowly back to the corner that he was in, and you see him kind of like lift his cloak and just vanish into shadow.
Love it when he does that.
He kind of pops back out of the shadows and he says, I will note, though, this is not a matter of ease. I may make it look very simple, but your house has some pretty good magical defenses. And he disappears again.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Was that a humble brag?
Yeah.
Right.
I've apparently been doing it all day. Yeah.
Backdoor compliment.
Anyway.
You guys might know this, but I'm amazing.
Is there still time in the evening to have a conversation with what's her name?
Yeah.
The Gentleman's Society?
Oh. Fine.
Do you think we could get that call out tonight?
Well, it's not a. Gressel's not a she. It's
Or
well, it's not an it.
Gretzel's some sort of mechanized man thing. I mean, Gretzel was the one that took the eye off and stuck it on Tim.
That's a really good point
Yeah,
of interest, by the way. I was waiting for that to
Got
ever
it.
come up again.
I had brought it up, I think, last week or the week before, but I couldn't remember who put it on me.
Yeah, but
so is it still on you?
Probably.
I thought it did. I think we discussed it and it disappeared, didn't it?
you haven't been able to find it. No.
Yeah, it disappeared. So, as far as we know, no.
Who
Doesn't
know
mean it's not
where's
still
it
around.
hiding on my person?
Okay.
It's
So
up his butthole.
That's where you'd look first.
doesn't change my point. I want to go have words with this thing as it said because I want to get on the fucking road and get to the king as soon as possible.
Absolutely, we don't have time to waste.
Yeah, if we can have this conversation tonight and spend all day tomorrow doing
You voice that
getting
opinion.
ready supplies things. Yeah. That's
Okay.
like I would rah, brothers, you know, the thing.
From an interior pocket of Valette's coat, which she wasn't aware was present, a small red spider with a gemstone as its main body just leaps out onto the floor in the midst of you. And then it starts rushing towards the door and slips underneath the crack of the door, out the run.
Can I
And
follow it?
I'm just gonna assume that that's the thing that we needed to talk to, or just go into the thing that we need to talk to?
Yeah, stop talking and just start moving.
If you go outside, just
You
outside,
brothers know way too many people.
outside on the porch, the glass eye kind of turns and looks back at you, and then kind of skitters off down the way. Every so often, stopping to make sure that you're able to keep pace, but never allowing you to get close enough to actually get a hold of it.
And that's when I cast Fireball at it. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. Yeah, no. I mean, if you want to, you can.
No.
Okay.
Please. Counterproductive right now.
Fair
I
enough.
don't have Fireball prepared.
Okay. The eye kind of leads you off into Old Rostock, heading into the city a bit, and kind of makes its way into kind of the center of the city, where two main thoroughfares, one that kind of comes in from Red Wheel and another one that comes in from Spellmoth, kind of form and meet up at a juncture that leads directly to Alderac. Just on that Y corner street is a building that appears to be perfectly shaped like an arrow, and at the arrow's point, it looks like there's a lot of kind of manners that would look like there'd be a door present, but where there would be a door instead is just a sharp corner. All along the sides of the building there are doors as well. I mean, actual doors with, actual door, but the same placement. So the style, the architectural style, seems to kind of denote that there's a door that's not there, and the eye kind of moves over to the corner of it and kind of just moves through what appears to be kind of an illusory wall into what you would presume is the Gentleman's Society's den.
I think this is an illusory wall.
Looking at it and being an illusionist yourself, you kind of go, yeah, this is really well made. And like you walk up to it and kind of touch at it, and it's solid, but then you kind of acknowledge what it is and pass through. And it seems like the kind of acknowledgement is kind of required. Similar to running kind of face first, like at a stone pillar to get to a train stop.
I don't get the reference.
Yeah, it was a pretty
Doesn't
bad
make
one.
sense.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You all enter in to this main chamber. The floor is covered with black and white tiles, kind of like a massive chessboard. On the outsides of the room, there are pillars, and each of the pillars seems to have something kind of hanging from a high ceiling, some 20 feet above you, all the way down to about eye level. It looks like there are a total of 6 of these kind of ornate adornments, and it looks like each item seems to be different, and also kind of nailed onto or mounted onto the pillar beneath each item is a kind of brass or jeweler's brass placard. The eye kind of skitters into the center of the room and then kind of just stays there waiting for you to follow it.
I do.
What do the placards say?
Okay, if you move over to the one on the left, just presuming that's usually where adventurers would go, there's a shield. It looks like it's very ornate and very well designed, kind of an elvish make. In the center portion is a gemstone that's been cleft down the middle and to the sides in very kind of precise cuts to show the symbol of a Vario. And underneath it, it says the Shield of Rowan Balian. The last name should be familiar to some of you for reasons.
Is that Balian, like Balin's watch?
Correct.
All right. While they're taking their pretty time being all smart and reading and stuff, I want to follow the eye.
Okay. The eye will continue
Yeah,
to move.
I'm not worrying about reading right now either.
The eye
Yeah,
continues to
probably.
move. Brack, make a perception check, though.
Hell yeah. $14.
It doesn't take you long to realize that it kind of moves away from you and then kind of like goes to the outside a little bit and kind of loops back around to the center of the room.
So we are where it wants us to be.
You'd presume. It looks like it was leading you to a door that was across from the central door that you entered, but then it kind of loops back and around.
Can I try to open that door that it's indicating?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and do me a favor. When you do, make an intelligence saving throw.
Nice.
You open up the door, and you see on the other side that you're looking directly at your back some distance away, as if you had entered from the actual door you entered through, and you're looking straight out to your backside. You kind of can see the others in the room from this vantage point, and you turn around and you can see them from the front, but looking back at the other door is closed.
Can I step into the room and close the door behind me?
The second you step through, the door just kind of dissipates in your hand. You realize it's an illusion, but then you also realize that you've stepped into the same hall on the opposite side, like you were playing Mario and you walked off one end and came through the other.
Interesting.
It's a dimensional door.
Apparently so, but that's obviously not the spell. Do you go and check out another one of the placards, Ren, or Broxgar? Are you doing anything in particular?
Yeah, I want to check out the shield.
Yep, it's the Shield of Rowan Balian. And looking at it, go ahead and make a research check if you just kind of inspect it. Believe it, yep.
Nice.
That's the real deal. That's the genuine article. That appears to be a shield from the end of the Second Age, beginning of the Third Age, when Rowan Balian basically declared war for everyone against the nation of Meridia. Long ago.
I would certainly want to look at the other placards.
Okay. You go to the next one. The article that's kind of hanging from this one appears to be a white porcelain mask with cracks that kind of run throughout it. There's a red handprint that's been ornately pressed onto it. It looks like it's been pressed with paint or blood, but it's still vibrantly red. And underneath it, it says, "The Shame of Albacoris."
Ooh. Okay. So it's a white mask with a red handprint?
Correct. It appears to be made out of porcelain. Featureless, kind of like a small nose indent, cheeks, and like a mouthless kind of facial structure. But yeah, the hand.
Does it look anything like the idealist mask, or it's different?
Very different.
Okay.
Ours is so much cooler, guys.
And if you let me, I'll keep looking.
Sure. So the third article on the left side, the chain is holding nothing, and it looks like it would once hold something large, kind of massive and straight. The placard underneath says "Tree Bar."
B-A-R?
Tree bar, yeah. One word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I familiar with that term?
You can make a history check if you like.
Sure. Is Brock nearby?
Yeah,
Maybe he can help me?
Sure.
absolutely.
So
20. I rolled. What did I roll?
18.
Oh, 18. Okay.
Broxgar kind of thinks about it for a little bit. You're kind of coming up blank. Joe, Brox would know that the sword Tree Bar is a massive greatsword, full blade actually, that was wielded by a Goliath known, or half giant, known as Grun's Stonechild. Grun's Stonechild is memorialized in Stonechild Park, which I believe you've been in. Yeah, his sword is very massive, very deadly weapon that can only be wielded by the blood of giants, specifically the blood of the Stonechild clan.
I would relay all that information very inquisitively, and also
Okay.
it seems to be missing, right? It's
Yeah.
not there.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Strange.
All right. And then if you go to the other side, there are 3 articles over there as well. Let's see. Notes. Okay. Directly across from where Treebar would hang, there is a axe. The axe looks very ornate, but it looks like on the head of it, embedded in a lot of the head of it, are these purplish crystals, which kind of jut out a bit and seem to kind of have they catch the light strangely. Like you're looking at it and you can see your reflection in them, but then your reflection kind of distorts. The color's different. It's kind of like more of a pinkish or greenish in between those two. Kind of 2 different colors. Some of the stones kind of blended in that regard. But it has the same kind of strangeness that the Dream Shard had. Underneath it says Thathos' axe. And for some reason, there's books just hovering around, like somebody who was a real dork just collected a bunch of items and started putting them in a cool room. Oh, and then Dieter deleted it.
That's the axe of Shade Thathos.
Yeah, I'll give you advantage on that one. It is the axe of Shade Thathos, the Undying Soldier. That's correct. The item in the middle on the right side, you go to inspect it. It appears to be a rod with a number of different kind of glyphs set upon it. The head of it is a kind of an amber stone, and inside it looks like there's something kind of stuck inside of there, but it doesn't look like it's insectoid. It looks almost like it's like a small mammal set with inside of the amber, a very tiny mammal. And underneath it says the Rod of Malbranch.
What a wang rod.
Last but not least, you go to the item that would have been on your right side when you first entered, and sitting upon, or set kind of by the chains there, is a suit of armor. And it looks like it's missing pieces. It does not have the left arm gauntlet, the right arm gauntlet. It has the pauldrons, the chest plate, and the greaves. It looks like it has one boot. And so they're all kind of held together by these chains. And it says the demon set.
Oh my.
The door opposite of the door you entered in opens again. And out comes Gressel, looking to you all. As they appear, the red eye stone kind of rushes to them and hops onto the robes and enters into the currently eyeless socket. Gressel kind of says, "Everything go well?"
You tell us what you saw, and you tell us what you didn't saw.
Everything.
Hey, giant
I'd
brother.
like to say, Sam just gives, like, Rack a side eye for his excellent choice of grammar.
You didn't like my double saws?
I mean, I did. Sam might have questioned that.
We did as you asked.
And it looks like you moved about to the next step of the endeavor before discussing the matter with me. You've already brought the conglomerate to rack and ruin. Interesting. So much.
Yeah, that was not expected to happen quite so fast, honestly.
Also, to be fair, had a lot to do with what that giant dragon lady brother did, and less with what we did, you know?
Gressel just kind of unmoved, just kind of stands there. I mean, they are just kind of a big mass of multicolored robes, where there would be hands that are instead kind of gauntleted, like spiked fingernailed, kind of brass gauntlets. And all you can see now is just a sliver of flesh and the eye now normal colored, not bright red.
So, you've been hearing what's been going on. Now that we're back and things are different.
You're in charge.
Well, it's not just that I was referring to.
Well, I'll go ahead and get that business out of the way. I grant it to everyone I speak to. You have your autonomy. Interesting enough. I assure
Like
you.
to think so.
I assure you, the Gentleman's Society, as far as gangs go, is the most powerful of the lot. So, I will ask you once, and you can refuse or accept, but you will never be asked again. Do you wish to join the Gentleman's Society?
No, I think we're good for right now.
That will be the
Thanks
last
for the
time I
offer,
ask.
though.
Gressel kind of nods. You came here seeking out a favor, I presume.
Yeah, something like that.
You have my my favor in response to your request. You wish to have Zaza defeated by Hadrian and combat mortal, so be it. If they can arrange it, then they shall. I do not care whatsoever.
Fair enough.
Is that all?
Well, it's at least part of our business. Gilbert, did you have anything else that you'd like to, since you're sort of at the center of this situation?
Well, it seems that that Saza specifically and his gang, the Kango, want me dead.
Okay.
Do you have anything else you would like to?
laughing. Bursts
anything
out
else?
laughing.
You would like to add, Gilbert, after that?
That was a pregnant pause. It's part of an oratory masterpiece that I am. No, actually, I just figured I would let you know, since you are in charge of a gang, and since, you may know more about.
Have you not been paying attention? I already discussed the matter with Samuel here. The matter is moot at this point. If Hadrian is inclined to find Saza and combat Saza, I guarantee that that battle will be one-sided and not in Saza's favor. Saza's capabilities are... He is not the strongest amongst the blades, which is why he was sent to a foreign city and not made to keep one in the lands of the Blue Dragon. So, I do not doubt that Hadrian will make short work of Saza.
Right. Moving on to a different matter, though, that I have a question of.
Sure.
So, while the conglomerate is definitely defeated at this point, whether or not it stays that way and they decide not to interfere much more in our city, I think will depend on possibly the next little while. They already know what has happened to their tower, of course. We couldn't necessarily expect anything less than that to happen, I feel like. That being said, we need to, I feel, keep this tenuous alliance we all seem to have going for a little while longer if we wish to not have additional outside interference, I feel like.
Okay. Gressel kind of shrugs their shoulders and kind of seems to kind of loosen the robes around their neck a bit just by moving. In the shuffle, you can kind of hear the clanking of wooden beads and the smattering of charms and whatnot, bangles and the like, kind of moving about. Gressel kind of looks to you. What do you have in mind? Just maintaining the balance as Val wishes, or do you have something else that you desire?
Currently, I don't have much else I desire except for keeping this city sane. Afterwards, we'll have to see. I definitely think that we have more power than is often acknowledged in this city. And I think that it's a good idea that we maintain a decent hold on that power so that we can continue to protect this city from outside interference.
Of course. The Silver Fang has already been deployed by the Regency. I believe that information has already been supplanted regarding one of the pillars that maintains balance in the city. Regarding the other portions of the balance, I believe Hadrian was excellent in quelling the problems presented to that order by your predecessor. And I would say that at current, if the council is indeed missing their leader, the Mist family is probably most likely to be aware of Lasatu's true nature. Jeremiah Mist is a diabolist and a devil and demon worshipper himself, so it might be the case that he was aware of the nature of Lasatu. That said, there may be some conflict on your west coast, but I presume, based on what I've overheard already, that your intent is to leave the city and head to the Oltania Rus. Am I not wrong?
That is the intent of my party.
You say that as if it's not your own intent.
We'll see. You know, things switched around rather recently, so we'll have to see whether it necessarily behooves me to go on a mission right now.
Brack gives Sam a hard stare.
Hey, listen, I just want to make sure shit doesn't go to hell while I'm away. Kinda did that last time we left, so...
Yeah, not the time and place for me to say something. I'm smarter than that, but... hard stare.
If our business is concluded, if none of you have anything else of interest to bring to my attention, or any favors that you wish to ask of me, I must ask you to please see your way out.
Of course.
All right, thank you.
Okay. If you are heading towards the door, you hear clang clang. As you kind of turn around, you see Gressel kind of smash the wrist guards of their bracers together to make kind of a chiming sound. Upon doing so, you kind of feel this very strange shift, and the next thing you know, you're deposited out on the street, as if you'd walked through the door, but you don't remember doing it. If you turn back to the corner and kind of investigate it, it doesn't appear to be an illusion any longer.
Oh, that's fucking weird.
Tricky guy.
Broxcar, make me one more research check.
Tumfo.
You're pretty sure that the items that you saw in there, discounting Tree Bar, value-wise, were probably somewhere within the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, worth of gold, just hanging on the wall in that front room.
Yeah, there was no way of telling like specifically where we were at, right?
What was that?
There was no way of telling specifically where we're at, right? Looking back, it looks different now,
Well,
right?
so the building is still the same shape. Where the door was, there's no longer a door. And also kind of looking at the windows up higher and like the building itself, it doesn't look like the space was different than the space you're looking at.
So is there a way for me to go into this building and see if I could see those items?
So you go
Like if I try, it's different building, right?
if you go to like one of the side doors and enter in, like the architecture in some spaces, like the crown molding and all of the kind of accent marks are kind of the same. But the door that you walk in is like a small little office, and a gentleman gets up and says, "Ah, hello, hi, it's a welcome to Dupre, Dupre, and Dupre. Is there any legal matters that I can assist you with?"
Oh no, sorry, looking for the bar. I'll back out.
Well, have a good one. Yeah. It seems like it's a series of different office buildings and rooms all throughout the building.
Very cool.
I mean, you didn't have any like direct messages you had to send to anyone from that law office.
I don't think so.
Back to Gilbert's.
Yeah, if you want. Whatever you guys want to do. It is quite dark out by this period.
Long rest would be nice.
Okay. Go ahead and, if you're interested, make a perception check.
Is that anyone, or is that just
Anybody.
specifically
28. Critical success.
Nice.
25.
Okay.
17. Boot.
14.
You very quickly identify the fact that you're being tailed as you kind of move out of the area. Every so often you see an exchange between the individuals that are tailing you, but they all seem to have kind of the same kind of look to them. The aristocracy, the nobility, has a very specific look, and these people seem to be able to blend in. But Valette and Ren, you very quickly realize that these individuals are different. They seem to be moving with purpose, and they seem to be doing so with like directionality and kind of keeping in tail with you. One individual who's following you for a time stops, starts talking to another person. You think you've lost them in the tail, or maybe you're just being paranoid. This is where most of the people will kind of fall off in their perception checks and no longer pay attention. But then you realize that the person that they talk to kind of turns about and moves and follows you as well. And then every so often you'll see kind of this exchange pattern working until you've made it to the point where you realize you're moving into idealist territory again, and out of the Gentleman's Society's territory.
And do they continue following us into Idealist?
No.
Okay, well, we certainly make sure that the others in the group know that.
Yeah.
Especially Sam.
Oh, if you bring it to the attention of the others as you're moving, you'll very quickly note that they just kind of rescind out. And Ren, you're the only one that realizes that they've moved themselves away and have fallen to a back pattern. And then you start to realize that they're not watching you from the ground level. You start to see that they're walking along the sides of the buildings using rappelling work, and kind of moving across like very small kind of adornments on the stone buildings. It seems that they've kind of taken to the air. And you'll note that several of them have grapplers, very similar to the Lemon Caps grapplers, that they've been utilizing and moving to follow you.
Okay.
You make it back home. Basically, the best way to kind of describe them, obviously they don't look exactly like that, but...
It's Attack on Titan.
Except that they're wearing like full on like coat and tails, with like bowler caps, and the like.
So they look like high class Attack on Titan people.
They look like gentlemen.
Like there was in a society.
It's
John,
fucking
that doesn't
cool.
make any sense at all.
But keep in mind, it's not the Gentlemen's Society; it's the Gentleman's Society, singular.
All right.
And that gentleman is a demon.
I don't know, maybe, probably.
They're all fucking demons. I'm convinced.
It's like there's a fucking theme, bruh.
Themes don't make sense.
My bet is for Teffington.
Also, I feel like I should rename my gang now to the Sam Dealists.
Sam Dealists. That makes sense. Sam Goodies.
Goody.
I don't know. Sam Fishers. I'm done. Stop letting me talk. You guys talk. You're the ones role playing.
So, is it our plan to get ready tomorrow to set out the day after?
That seems promising to me. Give Sam a day to get his shit straight before we head out.
Does Sam need a day to get his shit straight?
Yeah, I'd prefer to leave first thing in the morning tomorrow.
I would too.
What's your plan to get there, brother? You got horses? You got a cart? You got a car?
I have a mechanical horse, and I believe I can now summon another.
What is the fastest way to get there, Brock?
Real quick, I
I was wondering if
apologize.
we could get an airship or something.
Real quick, I apologize. Let me do something real quick. I need to talk to Tim about this because I didn't get a chance to mention this. I've been working a lot. I just want to make sure you're aware of how this works. When you cast the spell Find Steed, you deposit the mechanical robot out of you. So you're not summoning a real horse.
I want to see that.
Because you don't have the mechanical steed any longer. It was kind of left behind long ago. But
At Gilbert's place.
yeah, but it's no longer kind of present there. But now you kind of, instead of summoning a horse, you basically compile a horse out of you. It works identical to the spell Find Steed, but it creates a horse. Because normally the spell Find Steed requires there to be horses kind of out and about in the world.
Yeah.
There aren't. So
Right.
the spell wouldn't work as well. It would summon something else. And when someone actually, like, if Gilbert casts the spell Find Steed, he's not going to get a pony or a war horse. It'll be something a bit different.
Like a riding dog.
Probably not a riding dog. It'll probably...
Owl bear.
Owl bear is
It'll
cool.
probably be something in the a bit more wild in that regard. Also, good name.
A zebra.
Okay, so I no longer have the disassembled steed.
Incorrect. So you still have it. You can use the device as normal. It's basically ingratiated into you. However, if you cast a spell Find Steed, it just automatically plops it out.
Okay. So
You
So
basically
it's basically
don't prepare
I still
Find
only
Steed.
have one steed at any time.
Right. Don't prepare Find Steed.
Okay.
Because you can automatically do it anyway. Is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Cool.
Also, John, did you see what I dropped in our private channel?
Was it you telling me how cool that drawing is?
No.
And real quick, was the dude inviting all of us to join the Gentleman's Society or just Sam?
Sam.
Okay.
You know, I wonder if since we're going to go on a rescue mission for the king, if the prince would loan us an airship. I think it's
a good idea.
It's worth asking, for sure, because that would be the fastest way to get there. Although
It's also a pretty loud fucking way to get there. You want
well, I'm thinking we would
to draw the attention of a giant fucking airship.
Well, you land when you get close to the city, you know, so you're not close enough for them to see you. I don't know. Or you could just go right there and be like, screw you.
How far is it, like, time-wise?
Let me check.
Might be weeks.
Be right back.
See.
Shoot me some numbers, John.
Plus, we could go above a football game and get, like, a great view. You know? It would be cool.
Alright, so from where you're at to where you're going. Let's see. I believe it would be... Let me check here.
We're talking about going to the country to the west, right?
Not a country to the west. It's part of the same kingdom. It's a duchy, but it's also a rus, which is a tribal organization. It's a grouping of individuals who serve one king or queen, or in this case, a princess. Okay, I would say it's about. Ooh. It's about 120 or so miles. So 3 or 4 days on foot. Well, actually, sorry, foot travel is like 24 hour per day. So 5-6 days.
Yeah, maybe it would be better just to ride, so we're not bringing so much attention to us.
Yeah.
Playing D&D, I'll be on a little bit. Sorry, car's talking to
The problem with writing is the acquisition of writable things.
All right. Also, John, just one more thing in the chat
Okay.
that I just wrote to you.
He's saying, I'm actually a demon lord, and these guys don't know it.
Nope, not
all
that.
All the other rulers of the gangs are, so why wouldn't he be?
Well, he has yet to. He just became one, so he's yet to go into the Hell Place and kick out the former demon of lust.
Right. It's true. That's going to happen over time.
So are there no rideable animals, or are there just no horses, John? Like, could we go and acquire a steed or some sort of method of travel faster than foot?
So
Cool,
Can we get bicycles? Are bicycles a thing?
bicycles
Range
are a
Rover.
thing. The problem with bicycles outside of the city is you're riding on not worked ground. So the
So
roads,
mountain bikes aren't a thing.
mountain bikes aren't a thing.
John, I'd like to roll to invent mountain bike.
Okay, go ahead and make a invention. I don't know. You can't invent mountain bikes.
Alright.
We can't, but can Ren's little lady woman
Actually,
do that? If,
no.
She doesn't work for him
It doesn't
anymore.
work anymore.
yeah, but if
Brock-
we asked
He
her,
fired her.
Brox, make a research check. Go ahead. I'll give you a chance here.
I got 22.
So you would know that the tires on an auto carriage would be able to kind of traffic on solid ground and on rough road. Not out in the wilds. They won't be able to like drive off road or anything, but they certainly would fare quite a bit better than bike tires, which are basically just inner tubes on metal. Fine for city travel, but not so much for out in the wilds. You think that if you can get a hold of 2 auto carriage tires and a bicycle, you might be able to make a very massive wheeled bicycle that the stronger of the lot might be able to utilize.
I'll throw that idea out there just in the old Brock's rampage. I could make a bike.
want it so bad.
But
want
that-
it, Brox.
Really, that'll only probably take care of one of us, and a whole lot of us need to try.
Well, we have 2 steeds, so
That's true.
that'll. So that just literally leaves like one person without a ride. Unless, can this little thing fit like me and Broxcar if we got a bike?
Yeah, I'd allow
Like
it.
a sidecar.
Yeah, like Brox, you're small enough that like, and I'm big enough. We
Sidecar
could
with the
do
guy.
like some kind of harness seat in the back.
No,
thing.
it would be similar to kind of like a basket in the front, ET style.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to design it too, you could try and set it up like a pintle position, so you can secure a firearm on
Fuck
it
yeah,
while you're-
dude.
while you're driving.
Yeah.
So you can just kind
That's
of.
what we're
All of the above.
spending tomorrow doing, and then we can leave on the second day.
Okay.
Come on. We need to build our Mad Max road bike.
So the acquisition of auto carriage tires is obviously in your future for the next day. Does anybody have anything that they want to do in the evening time before kind of relegating off to Sleepy Town?
Drink.
Could I cast Find Steed? Actually, I can cast Find Steed. It's a domain spell for me.
Mm-hmm.
Can I cast it now before I go to bed, and then just like put it in a?
What's its
stable?
duration?
I will look it up. Find
Just throw it up
Steed.
on there.
I
Click
don't
the
think
button.
Oh yeah.
Let us all
Let me
read it.
Let me throw it up on there. Then we can all read. It's a perfect idea. Spells.
Don't
There it
think
is.
it actually has a duration where it's instantaneous, but like the horse is just there,
Okay.
or the
Until
riding
you
is
dismiss
just
it.
there.
Actually, I could dismiss it. I think.
When it
Let's
drops
go
to
to-
0,
Oh wait.
you could also dismiss at any time as an action.
But then you have to cast it again. I think.
Oh, also, John, as a question, when the weasel
Mhm.
disappeared going into the king's place, that was like it didn't die or whatnot. I can recall it still, right?
Yeah. No, it.
Okay.
Yeah, it basically just was thrown back to its familiar pocket.
Right. That's fine. That's what I figured. Just wanted to make sure.
According to the spell, I thought it was like a spirit animal or something. It wasn't a real animal, because it's like you choose.
You
the
summon a
form.
spirit that assumes the form. But
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
so
is
have
essentially
it-
that form.
can't I have it assume the form of a horse, even though they're an art?
Yeah, no, you could. That's fine if you. I mean, you want to, but it'll definitely draw attention. That's
But
perfectly
also
fine.
deer.
Summon a giant elk.
Will there be camels around?
No, not really.
All right. How about just a horse? Then?
Mastiffs are pretty common, but yeah, if you want to summon a warhorse, it's fine. I mean, you'll definitely be noted. You know, the guy who didn't give a horse to Saza is now riding around on a horse. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a-
dude, that's so dumb. Pick an elk right
Alright,
there
I'll
in the
do an
spell.
elk or something. There.
I'd like to say, if we had gotten his horse and I had read the thing and seen the horse, I could just make us all horses at this point. I think.
Yeah, literally,
Oh.
there would be no reason to quest. It would just be horse factory. Gilbert's house turned into horse factory.
The horse
Yeah,
factory.
I could just make infinite wealth for myself.
And then if you wanted to be
Nice.
totally terrible, any mistakes or problems you had with the formula, send that to the glue factory. You just got like a nice cycle of, just creation and destruction. Because that's
Dibs on running the glue factory.
That's
I'd like to say, I feel like this business could really keep us together, guys.
That's not a bad idea. Just a little extra money on the side.
So, that said, is there anything that anybody wants to engage in for the night before you guys sleep and then get off to doing what you're planning to do tomorrow?
No.
Okay.
Valette would seek to get just a primer or something in how to speak Gnomish, since she's living with a bunch of them currently.
Okay. It would take some time for you to pick up a language.
Right, I figured I might as well make my nights useful.
Perfectly fine. If nobody engages in any activities during the evening time, the night goes by pretty much uneventfully. You awake the next morning to the sound of gnomes kind of clattering and clanging, and breakfasting up. You also notice that a lot of them have started to pack away things, and it looks like a couple of the sets of armor that were kind of sitting out in the front chamber have been taken away. The next time you see Kale kind of about, you do notice that he has those suits of armor accompanying him, obviously equipped by the gnomes that are traveling with him. It looks like he's made himself an honor guard.
Oh, nice. Looking sharp, Cal.
He nods his head. We're heading out. We're going to Rastikin's estate, as mentioned. Well, we're gonna be heading out there again, going out and holding down the fort while everyone else starts to travel. So, if you ever come and visit, feel free to visit. But remember, you want to be around when the rest of the Barbagezi makes its way here. They should be sending you a message as soon as they're preparing to head on this way. I don't know why my voice changes every time every new game. It's just a different voice. I don't know how to.
Right. Kel's complicated. People don't really get him all the way. You know?
I'm actually a voice actor. I've been just trying to do different voices. I'm trying to
There it goes
flesh
again.
out my repertoire. Yeah, now I'm
Yeah,
Irish. I
it's
turned to
Scottish.
Sam. I don't even.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like so fluid.
He leaves.
Transition. It's like someone was taking an accent knob and turning it as the sentence went on. That was super cool.
He leaves. One day I'll be a good
I don't
voice
know what
actor.
I'm doing, but honestly.
But yeah, it's like it shifts from like Sean Connery to Roger Moore to it's just like wow, dude, just bonded.
and ends up on a 50-year-old chain smoker.
Yeah. Epic. Anyway,
Nice.
the honor guard and Kale leave, and head towards Alderek. And then what happens with the rest?
I go setting out to find 2 used tires.
Sam actually is going to
Probably
head.
with wreck.
While they do that, Sam's going to head north
Head
to
Fuck yeah.
where the idealists retreated to.
Okay. Perfectly fine.
Rox, you have money
Valette
A little
would
bit.
summon up.
enough for 2 tires?
Oh yeah, I've got a bunch of plat.
You summing up your steed, you said?
Yeah.
Okay,
And I
so-
would go with Brock's. Oh right. Go ahead.
One other thing, I'm going to give you an option. So the spell Find Seed is something you can cast on your own because I'm just basically incorporating the device that you had into this regard.
Mhm.
That said, you can, instead of choosing Celestial, Fey, or Fiend, choose Construct. So if you want to do that, that works for the narrative I'm kind of building there in my head with your character.
What is it like? Living construct, so I can technically
It's-
still heal it with healing spells.
It's a Warforged horse, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna look BA as F on that thing.
All right. So you would watch as Valette kind of steps outside, and over the course of 10 minutes, starts kind of reaching into specific sectors and kind of pulling out the bits and pieces of the horse, seemingly from nowhere, and then constructs the horse again. You've seen this horse before, Gilbert. In fact, your very first
Up
meeting
close and personal.
with Valette was with this same
Kicked
horse.
me, but then it saved me. So
But something seems a bit more streamlined about the horse once Valette has it fully constructed. And the other thing you notice is that the eyes now kind of glow kind of a bright, kind of greenish color. Almost like spectral light. Or vitae. Or orba, rather. My brain didn't do a thing. But very, very cool. And then you are going to mount up again, it's a warhorse. You could probably put Vrack on there as well. Vrack's not too big. And you guys are going to go... Brox and Vrack are going to go search for tires, right?
Yeah, I would go with them. Since Brock's technically probably is the slowest out of. Oh, you have those boots though, so you have 30 foot of movement, right? You wear those boots,
Yeah.
but Vrock is the fastest out of all of us, so me and Brock would probably ride horse
Okay.
while Vrock keeps pace, and that way we also have something to load the tires onto once we have them.
All right, where are you going to attempt to purchase these tires?
Mechanic.
Okay. So the only mechanic that you can think of would be at the association, and it would be at the staff association. It's the only place that you would know for sure has an actual mechanic.
Well, hell yeah. Easy enough. Go ahead to tell him right.
Okay, so the three of you are heading that way. Sam, you're heading to Idealist territory. Ren and Gilbert, are
Yep.
you wanting to go with any of the other group?
do you have anything to do, Ren?
I don't. I'll accompany a group that makes sense to go with.
I would like to point out something about Gilbert.
Yeah,
He is still a wanted man.
Stay inside, Gilbert.
that is true. I need a tune to this.
Maybe I'll stay with Gilbert just in case.
Okay.
All right. I appreciate it.
I'll go ahead and deal with Sam first. You make it back to your territory, and you know where new camp or new structure has been set up, or where you instructed them to set it up anyways.
New Idealia.
Idealia is what we'll call it. You head to the area and see those with white masks kind of standing about, looking, to you. with a bit of confusion, but a bit more of kind of a, nervousness. It looks like they don't know what's gonna happen here in this conversation, but very quickly, kind of, vie to you and kind of allow you access into this underground. As you're kind of moving down into the earth again, you see the familiar signs of idealist kind of territory. Individuals kind of sitting off to the side playing dice games, a couple of mages kind of, playing wizard's chess, and the like. It looks like there's the same camaraderie, and nobody looks like they've been too terribly put off by the situation. There are a couple of people who look like they're kind of annoyed and just look like they're restless, but all in all, it looks like it's the same kind of spirit that you had present before all of the things have happened. You make your way kind of into the center chambers, kind of looking for leadership.
Right. Well, I also would have probably called ahead to Peter while I was heading up.
Yeah. And you would find that Peter is available, and he tells you that I don't remember if I named him or not.
Which one?
The mage.
Which one?
The one that
Hilarious.
the one that stayed, not the one that left.
Gotcha. I don't think you named the one that stayed. You named the one that left Mallard.
Right. Mallard was the one that left, and then this one would be
Duck.
Where are my notes? No.
Goose.
Ha!
No.
Ah, hilarious.
I know. Animals. Also, John, I would ask for Peter. I would have asked for Peter to put together idealist numbers at some point in terms of how many were lost over the past.
Oh, we didn't lose much of anybody except for the initial portion of the Night Sharks takeover. Most of us backed off because we didn't really have leadership and tried to stay hidden, like we were doing when we were trying to get back in contact with you. We've never been organized enough to keep track of everybody. Just everybody has no white masks were lost. Everybody, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Peter, put someone in charge of actually trying to get some numbers on us now. I don't care if anything terribly formal, just an approximate head count and what people are actually useful for.
Sure. I know that the main concern, ever since Post-Mortre fell off, and a lot of the people in the eastern, western, and northern quarters are kind of focusing on it, is that our traffic ways are no longer needed because the conglomerate's gone. And Post-Mortre had certain means of kind of funding out to other places, trafficking in magical wares that we've been crafting. But we no longer need to keep those hidden. So a lot of our people aren't really necessary at the moment. I know it's probably best to keep the structures as they are.
Yeah, I was going to say it might not necessarily be that they're not necessary as much as they actually operate a little more freely if we need to.
Right. Well, what I mean to say is a couple of the artificers have left, saying they no longer need the protection of the idealists and have kind of gone off to try and start their own businesses. We told them that if they stay in idealist territory, they're going to have problems, and I think most of them kind of headed west towards the council territory. So, just a heads up there. Production may not be the same as it was beforehand, but potions, salves, elixirs, baubles, and charms are always going to be needed, especially in a world without wonder.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, did any of those people stay in our territory, or did they all sort of move?
There were only 5 of these artificers that I've been given information on, and none of them have stayed.
Right. Just do me a favor. Try to keep a tag on them right now, and if they do ever make it into our territory, don't make it a pleasant time here.
Certainly not. I have been keeping up with Zacharias in the best way that I can. It looks like he is moving towards your aims and is trying to make sure that we're more centralized here around the lake. And he doesn't seem to be trying to shift anybody's opinions. At least he hasn't done so in my presence, which has been about him the entire time. I even have an eye on him right now. Kind of smiles. So I think he's loyal enough. I think the main thing that we're concerned about is a lot of our traffic out, now that we have this kind of boom time that we could possibly move some things out quicker. It might be best to try and kind of get the word out to some of the people we were delivering out to. And yeah, I feel that if we have someone head out to Killian, maybe someone head out to Zenobia, and also Starport, just to let them know that we've got free and ready Ren to get more things out to them. They might put in some.
John, really quickly, I need to take this.
Okay,
Can
go
you
for it.
swap over to the other first? Thanks.
Fine. All right, switching off of that then.
Hey, could I have given the group that went out to get tires some gold and instructions of other stuff to buy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Alright, I could have given you like a wad of gold and said, hey, if you catch some healing potions, our group is in big need of them. We badly need healing potions. We're always, just a thought.
Yeah, sure. How much gold do they give?
Can I give him 500 gold?
Yeah, if you have it.
Oh
I
yeah.
think I should have that. That
Yeah.
should allow you to get some good tires, man. I'm talking like steel belted tires, like all weather, maybe even like studded metal.
So it's not a thing. The tires that we're talking, the tires we're talking about are very kind of
I'm just kidding.
solid rubber. Yeah.
Just solid rubber, man. Nothing special. That's all right. That's cool.
All right. You guys head to the association to pick up and see if you can't pick up some tires. You head into the staff section of the academy and start looking for a shop. You go in and you do see that there are a number of dwarves kind of actively working on some materials. Younger dwarves, maybe in their 20s or 30s, who are kind of operating on it. But you know that the actual lead shop mechanic of this place is actually a beholderkin who is very focused on keeping everyone like in order, and always has an eye out on everybody. The beholderkin's name, hold on, checking my notes, Duplicia. And Duplicia is a gawker beholderkin, so kind of a ruddy brown colored floating orb with kind of nimble fingers, 4 eye stalks on the top of their head, and kind of a goofy looking look to them, always smiling. Teeth are just kind of very prominent in their mouth, and they float on over as you enter into the shop. Hi, long time no see. You don't come around here very often.
Duplicia, I believe.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you. I am Broxcar Blaze Hatch, fellow fellow staff.
No, I know. Yep. I'm aware of who you are, and I'm pretty sure I know why you're here. You're looking for some sort of mechanism to help you with your study?
Perhaps. Do you have such a mechanism?
Well, I've been hearing a lot about people who are trying to revolutionize, kind of create mechanisms to assist in the utilization of firearms. And I've been hearing a lot coming back from what you're working on, specifically precision barreling and the rifling study that you've been working on. And I was very interested and took into your notes, let's say about, you hear a voice, about 5 months ago! About 5 months ago. And got really interested in it. And I started to realize that you could utilize, if you had a strong barrel, not a weak barrel like most of the firearms that are created out and about, even by our people. But if your riflings are as strong as it sounds, that same barrel could be used to fire multiple projectiles. Not at once, but over time and more rapidly, instead of having to have a cooling duration. So I come on over. It just starts kind of floating over to this desk that's just covered in grease and like scraps of metal and bits. But it looks like there's this very one clean square kind of in the center of it. That Duplicia kind of floats over and kind of like reaches down, kind of pointing at it. And you can see sitting there appears to be this very ornate looking kind of wheel lock mechanism. And it looks like it's got slotting for what appears to be 8 chambers, and kind of a gearwork mechanism kind of attached to it. I don't know how you'll fit it, and again, I haven't been able to forge a barrel per your descriptor that you added to the library, but if your barrel is as strong as you say, and you can attach this and make a secure lock and seal to the barrel, and maybe get it to, well, here, it kind of picks it up, and it's got a trigger mount, and it starts kind of clicking it, and you can see that it's spinning the barrel, or the my brain, it's spinning the wheel of the thing. It's basically half of a revolver.
It's brilliant. Let me see that. And I'll reach out to, I'll kind of prod at it and spin it around.
You're pretty sure with a little bit of finagling and kind of some restructuring on your own weapon, you could probably actually change your flintlock to a revolver, a chambered revolver.
I'm quite confident I can make this work, Duplicia. This is remarkable work.
Well, I've already got the schematics and everything. That's just the first prototype build. If you want to take it out for a spin, I don't know what you staff associates, me being a staff, I don't know what you other staff associates get up to, but looking over at Brack, then looking over to Valette, based on your choice of company, I presume it's a bit more than what I'm getting up to. Did you come out here for a purpose, though? I mean, did you know that I was working on this, or...?
I had no idea. This was quite the pleasant supply.
Both. Then what'd you come out here for?
Well, specifically today, I'm looking for a couple of heavy-duty tires for. Generally, they'd be purposed for an auto carriage, but I intend on using them for another project I've been working on.
Tires. Well, let me check my inventory real quick, and you hear a voice come from the back. We've got about 17! I think we could spare a set of 4 if you need them.
4 would be perfect.
Okay, yeah. In your design scope, it's basically going to be a 2-wheeler, so...
yeah, a couple practice wheels just in case.
We can make 2.
Or a second one, yeah.
Or spare tires just in case. Nobody goes for the practical, solid backup plan. It's like, nah, let's make it. It's a 4-wheeler now.
It's just an ATV.
But yeah, you get the tires. Duplicia kind of lets you take the prototype wheel lock, and you're pretty sure that if you want to do both of these tasks, create a bicycle with bike tires, and the adjustments on the firearm aren't going to take as long. You think that you're probably going to need another day or two, depending on how well you roll here on a research check.
Fair enough. I'd probably prioritize the bicycle.
Of course.
Because I'm very interested in. Well, obviously, like we gotta go save the damn king.
Well, you're pretty sure that the wheel lock is only going to take you like an hour or two. Like, yeah, seeing it, it looks like they built it off of your schematics, which you left in the library on your personal firearm. They just didn't recraft it because the main portion of your weapon that's important, and it's something that's kind of been important for you, is the barreling. You don't want the barrel to be weak because it's effectively like the blade of the weapon. But yeah, give me that research.
25.
Beautiful.
You're pretty sure if you point and direct Brock, basically realizing that you have a mountain of muscle, and also point and direct Valette. I'm pretty sure, yeah, you're both the same. Oh, I just realized people got switched around. Sorry, hold on a second.
Oh yeah. Also, have you updated my intelligence stat yet?
It's 18?
It's 20. I updated
Same
it
thing
last
for
time.
my
Okay.
constitution.
Oh, my charisma is 16.
Okay, gosh, geez, I'll fix everybody's stuff.
Just letting you know everything you're doing is wrong.
My con is also increased too.
Thanks for watching, guys. We're gonna go ahead and end the whole campaign. You're pretty sure utilizing their muscle and pointing and directing them, telling them exactly what they need to do, what they need to hold, what they need to swing, what they need to twist and turn. You can actually get the bike finished in 6 hours.
Nice.
Especially if you do it right there in the shop with Duplessis tools available to you.
Yeah, we have everything we need right here. If you wouldn't mind giving me a hand for a few hours, I think we could get this done today.
Yeah, they your two compatriots there start working at it. Duplessis kind of scratching their chin the whole time, kind of oh, and then kind of like wanders over to you. And it's like, it's not for you, right? I don't think you can move those tires, not with your scrawny little legs.
No, actually, this will be for Brack.
Oh yeah, he can do it. No problem.
He's kind of a powerhouse.
Yeah, it seems like it. Says as he's twisting a wrench to kind of like set in a portion of the mounting. After about 6 hours, so the early morning portion, it's getting close to lunchtime. You now have a horse and Brock's-gar, and then Brock a bicycle, which we're going to treat this very specially. So it is a land vehicle. So if you have proficiency with vehicles land, great. If not, don't worry. It's not going to be too terribly much of a problem. The tires are a bit wider than what you would expect, but balance will still be a factor. So as you're testing out the bike, and also if you continue to kind of maintain a certain failure rate, I'll need you to make, and also in difficult, stressful areas, I'll need you to make an acrobatics check when you're riding the bike. So go ahead and give that acrobatics check a test here while we try and see if you can even ride
It's
a
not
bike.
athletics.
You're not trying to powerhouse through it, you're trying to balance it. You spent a lot of time falling. I'm pretty sure everyone here has the same recollection of how that went when you were young, trying to learn how to ride a bike. Apparently it's just not something you do out there in the wilds, while murdering Altania Roos soldiers and the like. So yeah, you're having a bit of a hard time with it.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I hit the back of a van and knocked out like 3 teeth when I was learning.
Ouch.
That fits perfectly with my headcanon for you. Just as a whole person, that makes perfect sense. That said, it does take you a bit of effort, and you are spending a lot of time once you actually get out onto the road, kind of maneuvering as far away as you can from people, and trying to kind of stay safe to yourself. Every so often, kind of falling, having a bit of an intimate relationship with the ground, but you start to get it. Like it's not. It's not the. It takes you probably longer. No, it doesn't take you 6 hours to do it, but like it does take you a couple of hours to kind of get used to it, and you're not terribly proficient at it, to be sure. All right.
That's fair. Can I keep training at it though?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah. You're obviously not going to do like sick wheelies and like pop some sweet tricks. And
Not, dude, but like a child trying to learn how to ride their bike, I'm just gonna go out there every morning and spend like 20 minutes just going in circles until I can do circles real well, and then like figure eights until I can do figure eights real well, and in like a week, I shouldn't need to do this as much.
You're going to be going out on the road tomorrow if everybody's plan goes according to what I think.
Yeah, oh yeah, but like even when we stop at night, I want to just like do some practice runs because Thrax's not going to get tired when the rest of the crew gets tired.
Certainly not. We're going to cut back to Samtown. I kind of cut off in the middle of a sentence. I don't remember what I was saying. Oh, right. Connections outside the city. So you understand that there's been kind of a railroad situation from the Idealists. This has been mentioned in earlier sessions, where people were basically smuggled in, people were smuggled out of the city, and also items and artifacts that have been coming in illegally in the port section that the Idealists do have on. You can see that it's a bit of Rostagar. Old Rostagar.
I know which part you're talking about.
So you know that these railroads have been kind of maneuvering out and about into the world, and what Peter is saying is if they're not people out who are purchasing the markets are in the city of Starport, which is to the southeast, the town of Killian, which is a border town. To your knowledge, Killian actually has a twofold purpose. It's not just a place where you sell your wares, but it's also a place where wares are brought in. So it's actually a two-way traffic suite. And the reason why that is Killian is pretty close to the border of Sariu and Parnak. So relics and items of interest from the land of the Blue Dragon are brought over as well. And then I had mentioned Sinovia, which is a town in the Oltania Rus. There's a port to it as well. It does not serve as twofold a place as Killian does, because there's not a lot of like concern for the town of Killian other than military strength. And even in that regard, Killian's kind of a fall-about town. It's not. It's far enough back away from the forts that it's not occupied. And if those forts were to fall, they would go back to Killian. It could house them, but it's not the main strength place. But Sinovia has a port that's less regulated than Starport or Rostagar's ports. And it's kind of where if something really important needs to make it into the city, or someone really important needs to make it out, they're typically ferreted out of the city through underground positions out to the west, and then they are taken to Sinovia for that transport. And I think that's... Go ahead.
For those three places, is there necessarily like a contact that we have there, like a specific? I'm guessing it's a group, but like, is there like the specific person in charge of the group?
Yes. So the Idealists don't really have a presence outside of Rostagar. There isn't like a gang that's present, but some Idealists do kind of like make their ways out and about. However, in Killian, there's a specific individual named Lem, who kind of runs the gamut for the Idealist. That's LEM. Starport, an individual just known as Thomas the White, kind of runs in Starport. Thomas the White, you've met him before. You've heard enough about Lem to kind of, you could pick Lem out from a crowd. Lem's from Ikasha to the far west, and is kind of a bit eccentric, but a very good bargainer. Whereas Thomas the White is a wizard but is more of a charlatan than anything else. And you've met Thomas the White, and he kind of comes off as just skeevy. Like if you took Jerry Springer and Maury Povich and kind of made them into like a merchant smuggler, that's kind of where my brain's at for the character.
So basically, he tells you whether or not you're the father.
And you happen to be. But Sinovia, the individual there, it's been a while since a contact has been kind of established with Sinovia, because again, it's more for the like more dire jobs. It hasn't been kind of a contact point, so the market there is probably pretty strong, especially since the Altania Rus is one of the portions of the kingdom that's basically considered conglomerate law of just no, we don't deal with your nonsense. So the market might be stronger there, because you know that there aren't too many crafters or artificers in that region, but there's a lot of demand for the items and a bit more freedom to use them out in the open.
Yeah, well, the main reason that I'm asking is since there has been a transition of power, I was going to tell Peter to basically write something up and send something nice along to the heads of all of these areas to keep in good favor with them while there is a transition.
Okay.
You know, basically let them know that there has been a transition, that interested in keeping up the relationship, and also this is a gift of good faith.
Zacharias could probably send a message through magical means. I'll ask him if he has the capability the next I see him. But as I said, he's currently dealing with matters in the city proper. I think he's trying to make sure that the artificers that we currently have are well protected, and make sure that we understand what our inventory would be moving forward. But yeah, I can see if he can send a message out. That's not a problem. I'm interested in personally traveling out to Killian on your behalf. I have an idea. I don't know if it's going to work, but I have an idea. If I talk to Lem, I might be able to kind of. He kind of says, "No, it's probably stupid, anyways. Don't worry about it."
Are you sure?
Well,
keep in mind there are no stupid ideas. They're just stupid people who have ideas.
And I think I might be that one. He kind of says, but he says, I'm just trying to be a bit more ambitious. Ever since that day that Postmotre fell to Hadrian, and we saw...
Right, yesterday.
Right. Well, we saw what he was capable of. And then we also saw what the council's leader was capable of. I'm pretty sure that if anyone of the other guilds came to you and asked you for such a duel, you'd lose. And I'm not saying that. I mean, don't take it the wrong way. I'm just saying that it's kind of putting stuff in perspective. And
yeah,
so
that's fine.
I'm just trying to be ambitious and try and get as much as we can into our area to kind of bolster our capabilities here and make us seem a bit more important to the others. And so the Fellhoods up in the north, they traffic in some pretty dirty shit. But there's some things that they can't get a hold of because of regulations, and I think I can kind of get a contact with Lem out in Serio that might be able to pull some of that material for them to get a hold of. Maybe make a connection that way.
Out of curiosity, what does Sam necessarily know of the Fellhoods? I mean, obviously he has some knowledge since it's another faction in the world.
So
but...
there are 3 guilds that are ancient compared to the others, like hundreds of years old, but they're kind of just like built off of the traditions. Not really. You don't think anybody in those groups is kind of directly connected to the old ways of it. That's the Mardigans, Blackjack's gang, and the Fellhoods. From what you understand, the Fellhoods came from kind of a northern area up in Stormloft. They used to rule the city up there until they were ousted by a group of heroes, you recall hearing. And the Fellhoods have sprung up in other cities trying to make their kind of place. The Fellhoods kind of keep a pretty territorial guard of the northwest quarter and gate. The Mist family is the only group that you're aware of having kind of like a connection to them. And the connection between the two, from what you can kind of remember, is that Fellhoods are subservient to the Mists.
Right, but like, in terms of other things, like Sam's trying to keep things necessarily not dirty, so to speak. He wants to keep things.
I get you. So the Night Sharks are kind of more like brutish, like and like toughs. The Fellhoods are a bit more like bandits or like highwaymen type. They're kind of the same kind of aims and goals, but they kind of exhibit a bit more finesse and style. Not as much as the Mardigans, and certainly not as much as the Gentlemen's Society, but they try to kind of aim towards a bit more of an elegant styling, but they come off as just thugs.
Okay. Well, you can pursue that, I suppose. Just, listen, I might need you to stay here. I'm still not entirely sure. The morons that I work with want to go and find the king. I honestly think...
What?
Whatever. Yeah, don't ask.
The king's missing?
Again, don't ask. It's pointless. It doesn't matter.
Whatever you say, boss.
So I might need you to stay here and hold the ground if they do want to drag me off, since,
where
whatever.
Where are you heading off to? I mean, what part of the city are you going to? Where's the king missing at?
Yeah, no, it's not the city. That's the reason why I might need you to not go.
Oh, well, it might be interesting to have the boss go and set up these connections directly. That way we don't have to send just messages telling people what's going on. Do you want me to load you up with some magic items and you can just take them on over and sell them piecemeal yourself?
We could try that, I suppose.
And if you're doing that and I'm holding the fort here, keeping an eye on, do you want Winston to go along with you?
No, I'd rather have Winston here.
Okay, you got it, boss. All right.
And then for the most part, I'm trying right now to make sure that we keep the peace, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm, again, worried more about the conglomerate trying to take things back.
Sure. And I just want to let you know, we haven't been making any moves and haven't had any problems, but we apparently we have a lot more dealings with the hogs to the north than I knew about when I was just a grunt, and they just want to let us know that whoever the boss is, that they want to make sure they get an audience with him whenever he can meet.
Right. Good to know. Also,
to make sure you're not stressing that too much. It seems like a lot of the matters that are between us mainly focus on our trade out to the north, our railway out to the north, and it looks like Zacharias has kind of handled the matter, but they idly said they wouldn't mind meeting you. Post Motre never met with their boss, so I think they're just trying to kind of get an in.
Right. Also, send someone as a messenger, not as anything else, to see if you can get a hold of Hadrian and tell him that the Gentleman Society is perfectly fine with him going into or through their territory to the Kengu if he wants to take care of his grudge match.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get right on that right away. That sounds great for us. Tighten this binding with the night sharks, I guess. All right.
Right, and as for the hogs, how quickly could they throw something together to meet? Do you know?
I don't know.
I know it didn't sound urgent, but
I don't know.
what time is it right now, John, in game?
It's like morning time for you, about midday. Getting to it because remember you left at about the same time as the rest did, and it took
Right.
it about the same time to get to where you're going, and then they spent 6 hours. So I mean, you got a pretty good amount of the day left.
Yeah. If Peter can, tell him to try to set something up
Sure.
in a mutual, neutral place that we can meet.
Yeah, no problem. Do you want me to round up the? Are you going out to? Where are you heading?
What's the name of the place that we're heading? I legitimately
The
can't remember it.
The Altania Ruse. I'll type it in the chat.
The Altania Ruse. Thank you.
Yeah, so Synovia's out that way. You can head out that way, and the contact hasn't been fully established. We know there's someone out there, but the last person who held it, a fellow named Clark, the last message we got from him said he was leaving town, and his replacement would be at the, looks like a tavern named the Sweet Misery. I think we have a Sweet Misery in the city too. It might be a franchise. I don't know.
Who can tell these days?
I don't usually pay attention to bar names. He shrugs. Do you want me to round up the magic items and make sure that they're ready for you to take with you?
Yeah, sure.
All right. He steps outside, says a couple of commands to some people. You see some people kind of head off one way, some people head off the other, and you very quickly understand that he sent some people to go and see if they can't connect with the hogs, and sent some others to go gather up the loot.
Right. And then the only other thing that I would want him to do while I'm gone is just in terms of the wizards and mages. I'm not so much concerned with the artificers, but find out what necessarily the mages that we have specialize in case we need to subdivide them in some reasonable ways.
Sounds good. And he basically takes his leave of you, saying that he's going to go head to the dock quarter to go and talk to Hadrian at the Red Dragon, and kind of leaves you to your own devices here in the makeshift guild hall. It's not too terribly long that a couple individuals that you cite as the ones who were sent to go speak to the hogs come back and tell you they're not able to meet not until the end of the month. Looks like they have a bunch of festivals going on, and the boss for the hogs is sick, is what they said. The guy
Fair enough.
The guy kind of looks at you like it's really gross.
Yeah. Can I insight him on what he means by sick?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is just a straight wisdom, so +0. Let's see what I get on the die. That's an 11.
No, but whatever he's kind of keeping from you is probably something gross.
That's fine.
Yep. Not too much longer after that, maybe an hour or two later, the ones that he sent off after the items come back with a bag, and they hand it to you. Weighs about 25 pounds when you kind of take a hold of it, and you open it up, and inside is kind of a black, empty space.
I wish someone besides me had come.
And he says to you, if you want to know what's in it, just reach your hand in and think list, and you should be able to pull out the list of the items within.
Perfect.
Nods his head.
Right. I'll let you know if there's anything else.
Of course.
And then also, since the other day with post-mortrade, has anyone else been sort of wary of what we've been doing. Like, any of the other idealists worried necessarily about our situation right now with the change of power that you've heard of?
No, not really. Most folks, even though they saw what happened, didn't really understand what was going on. Um, Not too many people in the Idealists knew that Post Motore was the boss, so they kind of don't know what happened. Um, Most folks who are in the know and understand what happened are either wizards or artificers, and some of them have made their choices, staying in the gang or leaving. And I think the ones that have left are the ones who are the worried lot. Cowards, really. If you don't mind me saying my opinion there, boss. But yeah, I think everyone who's sticking around is optimistic. A lot of people have been spreading some good news. It seems like the main thing that uh, Zacharias has been stating is that um, it was your negotiating powers that made it so the Night Sharks didn't take us over whole cloth. So a lot of people are saying that a lot of people who understand what happened, anyways, are saying that it's better to have a silver tongue than one with a steel blade at the end. So,
Oh, that's good. Also, two more things. Number one, try not to let it be too well known about my not being necessarily around right now.
of course,
You know, number two, do we have like a treasury or something in terms of like extra gold that is floating around that I could, borrow from?
yeah, we've got funds. I'd say you'd want to talk to Peter or Zacharias about that, though. Most of the coin is kind of spread out to whoever keeps and does the jobs, um, you know, in that regard. But on the selling of stuff, it usually goes pretty good cut to the guild as a whole. I would say try and get in contact with one of those two.
All right. I'm just going to then try to find Zacharias and just get maybe like 50 to 100 gold if I can, or something
Okay.
reasonable, just because I've got no funds right now.
They would kind of lead you to the main office, and you like the main kind of central place that's been set up as like the headquarters, and a very similar door to the one that you entered into when you spoke to Post Motore the first time you met with it or them, and they lead you into the room. The room's been very simply set up. There are only two desks. One desk looks like it's been converted into kind of like a spell lab, and the other one looks like it's been kind of converted into kind of like an accountant's desk. If you go over to that desk, you'll see that the books are currently out. It looks like a lot of the notations here are kind of in regards to current allotments and what's being migrated in and out, current payments that are being paid by individuals trying to get into the city, and lastly, you would note that current currency, the coffers of the guild, appear to be around 5,000 gold pieces. You're kind of interested as to where that's located, and very quickly realize that the desks, drawers are extra dimensional spaces similar to a bag of holding. Go ahead and make an intelligence check.
Don't fuck me, Gil. Natural 20.
You very
25.
quickly realize that the coin is all in the top left drawer of this desk, and that's where the money is basically kept. You can take however much you like, and you would know that you can just go ahead and credit it to the account, notating it in the ledger.
Okay, seeing as we're doing decently well off, I'm actually going to grab, let's say 250 for right now.
Okay. If you take that much and, you'd be putting it in your own coin pouch. If you attempt to put it into the bag you were given, it's shunted out. It seems like the bag is filled to the rim.
I was just going to
Okay.
keep it in my own personal thing for right now.
And then head
All right,
on?
I'm done.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. All right, so everybody kind of arrives in different times. Ren, you're staying at the house. Is there anything that you wanted to engage in at all?
No, I would just chat with Gilbert about things and
Go
help
for it.
him as needed.
A lovely cup of tea. It's adorable.
But nothing. But nothing
I'm just
specific.
waiting for the ninjas to show up and
No,
kill them
nothing
both.
specific. Exactly. That's
Yeah.
it. That's
Okay.
it.
Actually, I want the ninjas to attack me here. I get all sorts of, like, stronghold abilities and stuff.
Indeed.
I can heal, I can cause damage to them, turn. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Stronghold's pretty awesome. But that's it.
It's awesome.
You all arrive back. You can see Vrac out in your lawn, kind of just tearing it up with these big old tread tires. And everyone else kind of situates. And from what I understand, based on discussion, the plan of action is leave tomorrow morning. Is there anything else that anybody needs to purchase before migration?
Yeah, I forgot to get the healing potions while we were out.
I also forgot to ask if we might have any like flying things at the Idealist. Oh well.
Okay. Healing potions are sellable in Spellmoth, but even still are kind of harder to find. Go ahead and make a charisma survival check there, Joe.
Okay, it's this -1, so 16.
Okay.
Nice.
You're able to find a place that sells healing potions, but they only have 3 in stock, and they're selling them at 60 gold pieces apiece.
Well, I will buy all 3.
Okay. The lady who sells them to you was a bit of a older lady. Smiles at your purchase, takes your coin readily enough, and goes back to when you entered in. She was kind of grinding at a mortar and pestle, some sort of chemical reagent, and leaves you to your business, taking your beverages. All right. Anyone else have anything they want to purchase?
Just as a question, how necessarily are all like what's the riding order for all of us? Obviously, Vrac's doing the bike,
I was thinking
and we have 2
Brock's
horses,
with
right?
bike, and then you with Gilbert, Villette with Ren. That gives a healer and a caster, or a healer and a shooter, or I don't know. Ren, do you have ranged weapons?
I do.
Yeah, he's
Then yeah,
got
that
have
puts
a short bow.
a healer and a shooter, and then shooter and me on the other fucking horse.
Yep.
Hey man, I can shoot lightning bolts.
Death machine will be aight.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
I can also shoot lightning bolts, Tim.
What's our bike gang name? Maybe we should be the hogs. Go kill the hogs first.
No, we're the road hogs specifically.
Oh, the road hogs. I like it.
Bunch of junk rats.
You're just mad because you're not Australian.
That makes sense.
Mad Brocks. We got Mad Brocks down there. Hey, that was the best movie.
So,
Go ahead.
I was just listening for you guys to talk. I'm not trying to interject. Go ahead.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say something.
I
All
got
right, guys,
nothing.
you guys ready to do this? Because this is gonna be some crazy ass shit. Probably gonna go have half of us get killed.
Probably.
So, steel your minds for this. Does anybody want my ring of what's it called? Ring of psychic resistance. It's an attunement item, so I can't use it anymore because I have the proof of against detection, or the amulet of proof against detection. And who should have some healing potions? Let's spread them out. Like maybe whoever can't cast healing or have any other type, take a potion.
I would certainly want one.
Let's give one to Ren.
One to Brox and one to Sam.
There you go. That'll work. That way, also you can use them to like if I'm down, you can shovel it down my throat.
My plan's not to leave Villette's side, brother.
That's a
Hoping
good
she
plan.
can keep me up.
Yeah,
I
you know
believe
what?
you'll last quite long next to me.
I think I want to stand next to her too. She's kind of good at that. Good at keeping people up.
Stand by me when you're not strong.
Exactly.
Oh wait, I can do that. It's over here. Oh no, it's not plugged in. It's a joke.
It's okay. We know you tried.
Yeah, there's a piano there. It would have been funny for me.
It would have been great, I'm sure. All right. So we're gonna head out into the sunset. Actually, does the sun rise in the east and set in the west?
Yep.
Then the sun will be behind us.
That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I say, yeah, that's all I've got to say.
All right.
Yep.
And of course, I don't have anything to interject. I am genuinely sawing because I'm trying to make sure that my list for that bag is accurate before I
That's fine.
enter on sending it to him, because I wrote it out, but I just want to make sure the poundage is correct. So I'm doing that math in my head. So if you guys want to just, give role playing a shot, just so I can stall.
Yeah.
Nah. That's okay.
I wasn't trying to burn or anything. Just
No.
on the wake up process. If there's anything that you want to talk, anything you guys want to do that doesn't involve me,
Gilbert, do you want to give instructions to the gnomes in your house? Or to your guards?
Doesn't
That
involve
is a
me.
good point.
And
Some of them are
You're a
leaving.
hunted man.
I want to get some riding practice with a little ET in the front. So if Brox is busy doing something, can I steal one of your little gnome family friends and put them in my basket and just ride around the front with the little, like, if there's like kids, can I get a couple of kids and just get used to the difference in weight in the front and like give them little fun rides in the fucking front lawn
Hell yeah, you gotta
while
pop wheelies.
we're leaving?
You gotta
They
pop
fall
wheelies.
out, and that's
Wow.
cool. They laugh as
And
they
wait a
fall
minute.
out.
Do not, whatever you do not use helmets. That's bullshit. This is fantasy land. Nobody wears helmets in fantasy world. So
There you go.
come on, just do it.
I feel like guards wear helmets all the time in fantasy
Yeah.
world.
Yeah,
Not when
that's
they're riding a bike, they
there's a
don't.
lot of helmets in fantasy.
Helmets are
Actually.
for
Like,
men.
almost all the characters are wearing
Have some
helmets. Have you seen Lord of the
hard
Rings?
feelings there,
They
Kevin.
They made so many helmets for that movie.
Yeah.
They did, that's right.
Personally, I think that it just shows that Kevin just doesn't like helmets.
Yeah,
think
right.
you're right.
No. Actually, I was just
You just
trying
want to
be
brain some of your gnome family
Yeah.
members.
You know,
He doesn't like his family either.
you know,
I'm
Actually-
not alone.
if there are any kids out there, definitely wear a helmet when you're riding your bike, just like your mom tells you. So,
Your mom doesn't know what she's talking about. You're correct.
And vaccines
Oh,
are fake.
The Earth is flat.
Don't say that.
no.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Hanging from a telephone wire.
Oh man.
So anyway, Gilbert, you might want to give instructions.
Is
Yeah.
my is my pistol a pepper box now?
It's no, it's technically a revolver, but 8-chambered. Because you had a revolver effectively, but it was lower chambering, was it not?
Yeah, it's from 4, and I had to reload.
So now it's 8, and then you have to reload.
Sweet.
Yeah, doubles your
That's
capacity.
nice. You're ready to rock.
Fuck yeah.
Let's see.
So, in all this time I've been spending with Vrak, I'd ask him idly at some point if he knows of any resistance to the Duchess, like especially considering the way that she treats people. Are there any like groups of people there, like labor organizations or anything even? Yeah.
Think of it like, if my understanding is wrong, correct me, John, but it seems more like North Korea, where the people are generally against her being in power, but there's no real resistance to it, because if you try to rise up, she genocides your town. That's why there's only me and no more of me's. Like, she wiped out my whole clan because we were starting to get a little bit of power and a little bit of clout in that area. No more orcs. That's what she does. If there are any resistances, she stamps them down with a fucking hard foot.
I would say a better analogy, again, because it's
Yeah, no, you make your analogy, whatever.
It's solid. It's just the main difference between that and it's more of a Vlad Tepish kind of situation. It's more of a I rule, and if you slightly go against what I consider to be like or orthodox, I destroy you because I don't want you in my land.
That answer your question?
Yeah. So probably no help from the people. I'm sure there's a few there, but we might have to.
Right. I'm sure there's help from the people, but we're not gonna get a fucking uprising or any actual men at arms. We'll get safe houses. We'll get food. They may secretly support us, and I'm somewhat known in the area personally, so they'll recognize me when I'm back through, but they're not gonna openly ride with us.
Rustic hospitality.
Good to know.
I think I'm almost done. Yeah.
Any other questions?
How long is it to get to this area again for us?
It's 120 miles. 5 days on foot, probably 2 days on horseback, maybe 3 with the bike.
3 days
Lovely.
with the bikes and horse.
Yeah.
The list is sent if you ever extract it from the bag, and I think I am ready.
Yeah, Sam would probably extract it right away, so I'm going to actually take a look at it.
That's the contents of the bag.
Cool.
Any magical armor I can attune to.
Any horse heads in there?
What? Why do you want a horse head?
Because it's a bag, Put it in somebody's bed.
Okay.
I don't know.
So yeah, again, apologies for the forced not being able to talk to your favorite DM. That said, though, did anybody have anything they wanted to exchange with me before you start heading out of the city? Nothing. Okay, that works.
You do what I was doing, riding with the kids on the bike, so I got a feel for it before Brock's. I don't know if that helps with checks or anything, but
give me another acrobatics check to see how well you did.
Oh, also, John, just as a sidebar, I'm not telling them that I have the bag. Not telling the group.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm up to 11.
Okay, yeah, you managed to keep balance, but it's a wobbly bit, and Broxcar every so often kind of looks like he's kind of reaching out to kind of balance you, and then kind of, pulls away because he sees you've got it. It's just, you're kind of doing, one of those situations. And the kids are having fun. Yeah, you don't spill or anything crazy. Just not moving at, like, full pace or anything. You're kind of carefully moving. Right on. Let's see. Okay.
Do we have rations for this trip? Did we grab rations? Team?
No.
Team, before we leave? Team?
I mean,
do we get
I think
food?
so.
We
Guys?
can get that on the way
Guys.
out, can't we? Can't we?
Yeah,
Get
so
it on the way out.
Well, Sam technically can cast Goodberry.
That is true. I can't actually
have Gilbert pass. When I have Gilbert pack back, his servants pack back.
the food
He has
won't,
tons of food.
the food
have
won't
his
last on the
servants
road.
pass handbags of food.
The food that they've been cooking isn't food that's ready for the road. It's to be consumed very shortly after it's being made.
Yeah,
Do
but
we have
Tim
bread
does
and
have a
cheese
point.
provisions in stores, though?
Not
We
really.
can grab now.
It looks like a lot of
Tim
the
does
things.
have a point
Sorry?
in that I can Goodberry for us if we want to do that.
That's fine. You just got to make sure you save that spell slot.
No, that's the old that is a spell that I actually can just cast once per day. It's part of my thing, and
I
I
did
got
not know
that
that.
1
That's
feat.
pretty cool.
Yeah, because I was
Magic.
trying to pretend to be a druid basically for my spell casting, so I didn't get
Well-
weird questions from Conglomerate.
It might come up in the wilds, so good points to keep track of and remember. And it, based on what I'm looking at, it looks like you have a lot of ammunition for your other device. That said, you guys are exiting out of Sunseeker territory, or are you exiting out of Mist family territory via the river, or are you exiting out of Fellhood's territory, or are you taking the long run and moving out Hog's territory and circling around the city outskirts to get to where you're going?
I mean, Sam's going to try to keep it hush that he's going, so that if we want to go out anyway, it's not well known that, like, the now head of whatever is going through so-and-so's territory. So,
Okay, so you have
whichever's the fastest, I think.
you have a passageway that leads you from Idealist territory near the ruins to the river to the west, and then you exit out onto the bridge and kind of move into Sunseeker's territory. A bit less monitored because most conglomerate lay people kind of live in that area, so they aren't really actively searching for anyone. It's kind of like similar to how it's not a very actively policed or magically policed area. That said, if you go that way, it'd be through Sunseeker territory. You can take the Hog Railroad out, which leads to the north, exits out a bit a ways to the north, and then it would be kind of a diversion back and around. But not wanting to move through any known territories, so that's fine. We'll just go ahead and cut to the chase. You're not actively walking through, so you'd go out Sunseeker lands and head out into the wilds to the west, and my map seems to have disappeared. Great. Good times. I might have loaded it in a different game, and I'm not going to try and find it right now. Hold on. This is the best part of being a DM.
So if you guys were wondering what that urgent phone call was, it was my cheesesteak.
It's urgent.
Solid.
Nice.
Where the hell is it? It's late.
I ate it.
No, he ate it already.
It's already gone.
Okay.
What about that sub?
So
I ate that too. Also, it's a hoagie.
It's a
From
hoagie
Wawa.
sub.
It was a hoagie from Wawa.
You should be
Wawa.
ashamed of yourself in Philadelphia from getting a Wawa hoagie.
I just
No, Wawa hoagies are good.
guys,
Really?
guys, real quick.
Yes.
So apparently my map of the outside of the city doesn't appear to have loaded into this game, and I'm trying to find it in the other games and on my computer, and it's not on my desktop because I rearranged my desktop about a week and a half ago, and I'm pretty
We
sure...
can do Theater of the Mind.
Well, I really want that map, so here's what I'm going to say. It's, we've been going for about two and a half hours. So I'm going to go ahead and call this a short session. Next session, wilds, and just exterior time. So is that cool with everybody?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
I suppose.
I'm sorry.
I suppose.
Well,
Right.
it'll give you more time to think about what you've got on your person, I guess. And yeah, that's a lot.
I guess.
Anyways, and another note too is average magical item prices for like campaign setting 500 years ago, 500 for uncommon, 250 for non-consumable commons, and like 50 to 100 for consumable commons, and so on and so forth. Those aren't the rules. You set the prices, so good luck with that.
Yay.
And I'm gonna go ahead and stop the stream. Thanks for watching.